confiscate the truth, to indoctrinate the youth. Got us hopped up on the juice, cause the doctor's about the loot. Posture of imposters, cause our options are acute. Playing possum for the boot, it's lost in the obtuse. You constantly accosted for the optics you can prove. Animosity's the obstacle that obfuscates a view. The logical or Harvard is a Nazi with a noose. Not a lot that you can do. Your thoughts often skewed. Only product worth consuming is the content they remove. Propping up the news, your conscience is abused. They gon' propagate the conflict just to launch another fuse. We in the clutch, people are stuck. Feeding the evil corrupts. We're so receded, I know we're defeated until we're free to erupt. Nothing but cucks running amok. I'm talking to Zuck. Walking around like a deity, you and the media need to get fucked.
Welcome to the edge of the hole of abyss, where we stand on the ledge and we hope we don't slip. Where we all trying to cope, not focused on shit. Always scoped on the fix that is fixed to our wrist. And the cyst that persists from the clicks that we get is a ship that's adrift in the midst of the grift. What a trick, what a gift. What I miss? Shit. Ignorance is bliss, 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 bliss. 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 Ignorance is bliss.
Woo! That was dope right there. Extended intro. All right, welcome to the 4th episode of the new Dystopia podcast. I am D Webb. Unfortunately, Amy B is swamped with work right now, so I'm gonna hold it down for you, Amy, but you better get to work. We're gonna have to dock your pay. You keep on. And on this podcast, we seek to take a deep dive to the topics and underlying causes and effects that the mainstream unintentionally or intentionally ignores, you know. And I am highly honored to have on our guest this episode the man behind that poignant introduction we just heard to this podcast. He is an artist, he is a budding social commentator, and an all-around righteous brother. And here to break down intricate lyrics as well as hit on a few topics, we got the brother Cassius Cam. Oh, and I want to say, I think I heard on the last Hoteps, you official now, brother. Congratulations, Hotep Cassius Cam. Let me stop it. What's going on with you, brother?
Doing good, man. How's it going?
It's going, bro. It's going. Long day.
I'm in the private chat. I'm a Hotep content creator. I get to put the little logo up in my shit.
You get to be a mod. Are you mod, bro? You get to kick people out the
Nah, I don't do that. Yeah, I'm not good at that. My messages are the ones that get retracted. So I don't know how I'm supposed to moderate. They got a grip of mods though. They don't need me.
Yeah, they definitely do. But yeah, I just had to throw that out there, man. I was listening to the episode earlier today. I said, whoa, word. Okay. That's my dude. I'm gonna have to shout him out. But let's go ahead and speaking of the Hoteps, you know what I'm saying, and your affiliation. Let's just do a deep dive, man, because I like to maybe get a little background for maybe those who haven't, heard of you or anything like that. Maybe you can just give them a little background information about yourself, maybe a little bit about your upbringing. I know I mentioned you're an artist, so we got to know who inspired you musically. Like, that's a big thing for me because I'm a music head myself. And go ahead, man, drop your info for them, bro.
Yeah, I'm from I grew up here in Northern California, like way north. I'm at the border. I could throw a rock to Oregon, and I'm like I'm not even playing. Like it's right out the door,
Yeah.
And it's a poor rural community. What makes it interesting is like one of the most diverse rural communities you'll find. The town I grew up in, people crack jokes, but it's actually called Weed, California. That's my hometown. It's called Weed, California, and that's what if you know anything about Northern California, it's like we grow a lot of fucking weed up here. Like that's the hustle for most people. That's why some people don't have to learn how to read, because they start farming when they're young. But I grew up in a little, poor trailer parking neighborhood, kind of on the outskirts of town. And what's interesting about weed is it's a lumber town because it's super windy. So they founded a lumber town here, and what's a trip is that they started migrating large factions of the Black community from the South, a lot of Hispanics, the Italians and the Irish from the East, and those neighborhoods to this day are still, they're segregated, but segregated by like, that's just where they settled when they came here. So like when the town was developed, it was different camps. It was A camp, B camp, C camp, D camp, you know, and to this day, the Latinos still live in B camp, the Irish still live in A camp, the Black people still live in C camp, and the Italians still live in D camp. And it's like that just because the houses are, you know, passed down. No one really ends up going anywhere, you know.
Word, yeah, definitely.
For the,
like
for the
like
most
sound
part.
like my town, man. I know people don't have a passport, don't you know what I mean? Never
Yeah.
left the state. Is crazy. So
Yeah.
what inspired you to, man, to do the music thing, bro? And how long you been doing that joint, man?
Man, I don't know what it is, but like just growing up, I was just all these other kids, like I just gravitated towards rap music. The first album I ever bought was Tikal by Method Man. And
Word.
I think I was 8 years old. See, I'm not one of these white rappers that like just stands Eminem. Like when I get an Eminem song on my shit, dude, I skip, you know. All respect to the man, you know what I mean? But like he's not even you know, props on him but he's not even in my top 15, if I'm being honest.
Man, I don't think Eminem to me personally is just the test of time is the ultimate test to me. And like you said, at the cow, I can still throw it on right now. But sometimes I throw on like, you know, the Slim Shady LP, and I'll be like, it's kind of how you didn't stand the test of time to me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he peaked like, you know, there like Encore, like the Eminem Show, like there were some really good albums he put out.
For sure.
But it's just not, you know, I can put on 36 Chamber. I can slap that shit every day of my life. And another big influence, probably one of my biggest influences, Jedi Mind Tricks out of Philadelphia. Vinny Paz, Ill Bill. Yeah. Philly, man, as far as lyricists go, like, you know, Philly puts out some hard shit. And that kind of where I kind of base my music, being kind of like anti-establishment, getting into quote unquote conspiracy type shit. A lot of that stems from listening to, you know, the Immortal Techniques.
I was just about to say, my homeboy from Sacramento, he actually put me on what Brother Ali and all them. Like he was listening to all them dudes, and even like put me on some of that West Coast joint, the underground, like Andre Nicotina and stuff. Like I never heard of
That's
this.
My shit, man. Bay Area, like Bay Area rap. You know, Mac Dre, Andre Nicotina, Loonies, like a lot of crazy fucking music that comes out of there. And I've tried to kind of like, because people find out where I'm from and they're like, man, you rap like more East Coast type shit. And I try to blend it, you know, but like I'm just in a weird spot of California. And I just gravitated towards rap music and I fucking just never stopped. And I was always freestyling in the cafeteria, on the bus, and you know, we didn't have shit else to do. We were poor, you know. So like what fucking
you get the cats on the lunch table. You know what I'm saying? That's how we used to do it back in the day. You know what I mean?
I had that moment in it was like the 7th grade when I realized that I actually had some talent. And I had a group of homies, 4 or 5, and they were sitting there making a beat. Like the Asian kid had some scissors. My Mexican homies were banging on the table, you know, and it was like in between classes. And there was like every kid from the whole entire middle school in the quad was like sitting around, and I was fucking going and shit. And I was like, damn, dude, like I feel really comfortable doing this, you know? So it kind of just, and then I sat on my hands until this last year, as far as taking it serious and like putting anything out, you know, just kind of like, but I feel like if I hadn't have done that, then a lot of my young, dumb bullshit would have like kind of carried over to the music. So I'm kind of glad that I waited, to be honest.
Yeah, you know? Ready for that red pill. I feel you. He's like, you know, trying to pull out. But and then I remember, man, like to be honest, man, when you grow up in like, you know, although, you know, I grew up in Chicago, which is, you know, like way different than, because I've been to Cali, I've been to North Cal a couple times, stuff like that. It's almost a different world. But at the same time, when you poor, you poor. And when you hip hop, you hip hop. So that's one thing we used to do, man. I remember we used to have this dude that was almost like the king of the school. I think his name was like Ronnie or something, yo. And this dude was like the Jay-Z of my school, man. And like to even battle this dude, right? You had to go through like 3 of his minions, and they was nice. You know what I'm saying? It was like this dude named Dirk. It was this chick, and it was another dude, and they was nice. And before he would even rap with you, you gotta like battle them, almost like Rough Riders used to describe back in the day. Where to get on the Rough Riders, you gotta go through the gauntlet, right?
Yep.
So that's how it was, and that was our sport. And on top of just building, you know, on top of entertainment, it also kind of built their rapport, and it also kind of built your confidence. Like you were saying, once people's hearing you nice with it, then oh, okay, you nice with it. That helps you. You know what I mean? Now you can talk. Now you're more confident in how you walk, how you talk, how you carry yourself, and you also get a little name. You know what I'm saying? So it was like you had 3 routes. You was either the athlete, you know, you was a jock. You was like the beat 'em up, nice with the hands kid. You know what I'm saying? Or you was like the rappers. You know what I'm saying? Those was like the 3 main dudes when I was in school, man.
Yeah, see, like we didn't have a lot of that. Like it was all like there was the suburban kids, you know, who always had the nice shoes and fucking had all their shit. And then there was like the gutter white trash. Then there was the kid from the Heights, the black kids from the Heights, and then the Asian kids that grew up they had the little Roach Motel housing and shit. And where like the whole race thing came into play, like at a very early age, I noticed that I had much more in common with people from my class than I had with people of my race, because me and the kids from the Heights were hitting licks on the kids from the suburbs all the time. Like we had that chip on our shoulder, you know what I mean? And those were just the kids we kicked it with. Like the have-nots, like just kind of came together with the have-nots. Like that's just the way it goes.
Detroit, yeah, kind of reminds you, like you said, just mentioning the hip hop that you more to kind of gravitate towards East Coast hip hop. Even like dealing in the Midwest, like if you go to Detroit, like, and I hate to bring up the example of Eminem, but you know, when you poor, you kick with other poor people. Now it was different. Once again, I didn't notice that until I left Chicago, man. When I grew up, my school went to was 99% black. So once I went to high school, you know what I'm saying, and start seeing other coaches and other things, it kind of was almost like, oh, okay, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you still always had like, oh, we poor, we hip hop heads, we hip hop, you with us. You know what I'm saying? In fact, one of the craziest dudes, they used to kick with us, man. It was this white boy, man, Deuce. Brother's name was Deuce. He get down. He be the main one stealing off on people he want to fight. You know? You got to tell him, yo, Deuce, calm down, bro. But, you know, you cool, man. We didn't really like see it as like, oh, man, you got to be, you know what I mean? Oh, you over there with the white people. Yo, Deuce was broke. You over here with us broke people, bro. Come on, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how we did it. You know what I mean? But hit back on the topic, man. What kind of like got you into, you know, being affiliated with the Hoteps and, you know, following that movement right there and falling into that?
So I got into like anarchism this was when I really started learning about shit. It's probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and I started reading like Rothbard, shit like that. And it was just hard to find when culture became so politicized. I just did not fit in anywhere. You know what I mean? You just get ostracized by the status. You get ostracized by the progressives. Like there's nowhere where you feel like you can just like speak your mind freely. You know, like they'll call you a racist if you say something off color. You know, or the right will call you stupid for thinking that we could have roads with just tolls. Like we need the government for all this bullshit. You know, and I stumbled upon Hotep Jesus and just started watching their shit. And after a few years, I always interacted in the chat, you know, like I appreciated their content. So I'd fucking drop super chats, fucking kick them a few bucks here and there. And it was, I think when all the riots were popping off at the beginning of 2020, I had always followed Hotep Jesus, but he never, like, he would retweet my shit every once in a while, but he wasn't following me or nothing like that. And he was talking about in Portland, he was like, maybe I can go to Portland and get some reparations from those white people because they're up there shilling, you know what I mean?
The shekels, look at them shekels.
And I replied to his tweet and I said something like, man, I've given you more in super chats this last month than you'll get from those fucking bums up there. And he fucking followed me. And I was like, oh shit. So then once I got a follow out of him, I just I've been posting like little bullshit videos on Instagram, like, you know, just like me rapping in front of the camera with like some beats and shit. And then I just started tagging him a bunch of shit. And then I kind of bit the bullet and was like, fuck, dude, I just need to start putting out some content, you know? So I got some cheap ass equipment. Like I've upgraded, you know, way better now, but I got some cheap ass equipment. And the first thing that I put out was a song called Pawn on the Board. And to me, like as far as lyrically goes, it's one of the, I hate everything I do. And I think most artists will agree. Like they fucking hate everything I do. Like there's nothing someone could tell me fucking, I had Benny the Butcher got in my DMs and told me like, hey dude, that shit was fire. And like in my head, I'm still like, it's trash. It's all trash.
Yeah,
but this one song, this Pawn on the Board song, like I was like, damn, that shit's fucking hard. That shit's hard as fuck. And I had a line out of it that these pseudo-liberal types ain't willing to act different unless the shooter's white and he's killing a black victim. On the right, the hurt and pain is measured as regardless unless the person slain had a record that was flawless. And HJ retweeted that shit. And I was like, okay, you know? So I kept bugging them. Everything I put out, I would tag him and they just kept retweeting it. And then I thanked him about it on a podcast. This was back in June. I thanked him in a super chat. I was like, hey man, thanks for retweeting my shit. Like that shit really helps. Like I get flagged by the algo. The algo does not like me.
Nah, I noticed that.
You know, I get no recommendations on Spotify. Like you can go into your Spotify artist page and it'll tell you like what percentage of your plays are coming from like your direct account and what percentage are coming from the algorithm. And I have songs that aren't political that get really good algorithmic review, you know, like 50% of the plays will come from the algo. But that song, Talk About It, that song, Pawn on the Board, nothing, 0, 1%, like nothing at all. So I was just like, hey man, thanks. That shit really helps, you know, because once he retweets that shit, dude, that's like 1,000 plays, you know, whether it's a Twitter, whether it's a video on Twitter, whether it's a little segment, whatever it is, you know, a tweet, whatever. And and then I thanked him, and then he gave me an offer to make a theme song for the podcast. And this whole time they were talking about Hotep Nation Weekend, and I didn't really have a reason to go. Like I was like, oh man, that'd be cool, you know. But then they gave me the offer, and I was like, fuck that, dude. I'm buying a ticket. And I hadn't even made the song yet. So I'm like, I better make something good, because if I make something trash and I have a ticket, I'm gonna go down there looking like a fucking fool, being like, oh yeah, I made that song that you offered me to make and it was trash. Like, you know. So I didn't want to be that guy. And so I got to work on it. And a funny story about that, like the day I was supposed to submit a rough draft to him, I had been working on it for like 2 weeks and I fucking deleted everything. I was like, this shit's not working. It's not right. Like this shit's not right. Fuck that, you know. And I almost submitted it to him too. And then something in my head told me, nah, don't. That's not it. That's not it. And I talked to my buddy that I make music with, and he was like, man, you got to like come out of left field, like make something you would never make. You know, it's not one of your songs. It's a theme song for a podcast, you know? And then I fucking 45 minutes later, I had that shit, and I fucking sent it to him right before the podcast aired. It was like 4:55 p.m. For me anyway, and they start at 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's 5 p.m. when the show starts on Thursday. And I shot him the email with the attachment, not expecting to hear anything. I was like, he's about to get ready to go on, so he's not going to see this email. And I'm sitting there waiting for the podcast to start, and it starts, and he's playing my shit. And I thought it was my fucking studio, so I go in there and like fucking pause shit, like, make sure I wasn't tripping. And then I paused the YouTube on my computer, and then I play it, and it's still playing. And I was like, oh shit, no fucking way, man. Dope.
You know, so I remember first time I heard that joint, man. I'm like, man, it catchy than a motherfucker, man. I give your props, bro. Like I was hearing it, but it's poppy. Like, and I heard some of your other stuff. You know, you done tagged me a couple times. I heard your stuff. I'm like, all right, it's dope. It's a little more dark. But you know what I'm saying? Like you said, I got that East Coast feel. But when I heard that joint, I was like, it's poppy, but it ain't corny. You feel me? So it was like, man, I had to run that back. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm listening to the pod. I'm like, let me run that joint back. So yeah, not to cut you off, man, but go ahead, bro. That joint dope.
So I appreciate it, man. So I had those hooks, and I fucking sent it to him. And then once he okayed the hooks, I was like, all right, I'm gonna toss a little verse in there and like make it real personal to the podcast. Like I got family members who saw the music video and like they didn't understand shit. And I'm like, you won't unless you watch the podcast. Like you won't understand anything. Playing chess with the Hoteps and the gulags, like you won't understand none of that shit. Koofy, yeah. You won't get it. But I wanted to make it super personal to the Hotep in his show. And I did it in that low. I dropped the octave in it because I didn't expect to be in a fucking music video or anything like that. I dropped the octave because I wanted it to be like the Hotep overlord. You know what I mean? Like that was the concept I went with. And the video dude, Taylor, he's a shout out to Taylor. He's the guy that did my intro, which I just watch that shit sometimes. Like he fucking killed it on my intro videos. The little fucking he did the snake with the fucking shit all over it. Like helped me with my branding and fucking, you know, because I got, you know, my whole sleeve, I got rattlesnakes everywhere. Like,
look behind you, bro. Don't tread on me, cuz. You know what I mean? So it fits with your brand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's the one thing, like speaking with HJ and shit, it's like if you're gonna start creating content, like you need to get your branding on point. You know what I mean? So like when people see those X's, when people see that rattlesnake, like they know. I was like, all right. So they hooked me up and they put me on. And then I was down in Vegas with them, and it was chopping up with people that I felt like I've known my whole life, you know? Shout out to Jonesy, Wasted Talent Podcast, Chad, like all those guys, man. Like it was a real interesting experience because you're meeting strangers, you've spoken with them, you know, but it was just like cutting it up with a homie from high school, you know? Like it was really fucking interesting.
Yeah, and Twitter, man, as much as I hate these social media sites, you can really get in contact with a lot of people, build relationships, do that joint to the point where it feel like you almost fam. It's like even me chalking it up with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh man, that's the homie. Never met your day in my life, but you the homie. You know what I'm saying? Just from what I can see, you can, but you got to kind of be careful not to get kind of echo chamber. But even then, on the first like episode of this joint, I got Monica Perez to come on here, like, you know what I mean? Thousands upon thousands of followers. You've been on real radio, terrestrial radio, and just to shoot a message, and they be like, oh, cool. Don't want nothing. Don't want no bread. Don't want no money. Just, oh, okay. I do that I see your tweets. You dope. You know what I mean? So off the strength. So, and a couple people don't follow me. It's like, I had no clue that you would follow my little 600 follower having ass, and you know what I mean? Chalk it up. So it's a powerful tool, man. So, that's pretty dope too. So just going into it, you know what I mean? I know we was talking earlier. I know how you talk about you don't even write the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Which is, to me, is like crazy as somebody who does do a little rapping.
I got notes. So like I'll write a word or I'll draw a little picture and it'll remind me of like 4 bars, like a sequence.
So it
then sometimes, depending on like how intricate it is, I'll write it down after it's done. So just for like recording purposes. But yeah, most of the time I never have. Like it every time I sit down and try to write, shit comes out whack as fuck. So I just gave up trying to do that.
And you know what else I felt you on too, man, when you talking about you not listening, like everything you do feel trash to you once you do it, man. I have yet to listen to a full podcast ever. Like all this shit is like whack to me. Like I'm like, I am never ever listening to, like when I do the clips or whenever I try to do some promo or cut it up, I just randomly pick a spot. And if I hear something dope, I chop it up and make a promo out of it. I refuse to listen. Even when I was doing music, I don't listen to none of my old songs and none of my old verses. I listen, matter of fact, if I did a song with like 2 other people, I listen to their verse. I'll be like, yo shit hot, and then skip my shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it never felt good enough to me, even though people would tell me like, yo joint dope, your verse was dope. I don't care, it's whack to me. Everything whack to me, though. That's the bad part of artists, right? Of being a creator, you never feel as though your work is good enough or as dope. And if you do feel as dope, I guess that may mean it is super dope, right? It's like when you had that hit song, you're like, I mean, I guess it's like cooking your own food, right? They always say you cook your own food, it tastes good to you. Somebody else might eat it and throw it up. You feel? So I guess it depends. But let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the lyrics. I don't know if you got that joint written down or you want me to play it again. Or
I did. So I like to, I don't stick to like a normal song metric. Like typically it'll be like 16 bars hook, 16 bars hook, bridge hook, like I Tom McDonald is Grifter of the Year, hands down. I give the man the props. Like but if you listen to any one of his songs, like it's the same exact format. Like when he does his songs, he does the verse, he does hook, does verse, hook, 8-bar bridge, hook, and he sticks to that. And I try to I'll go all over the place, and I just fucking. So when I started this instrumental, shout out to Ill Resolve on Twitter. Go check him out. He makes like hip hop fused with like electro music. His shit's dope. His shit's fire. He sends me instrumentals, and I had been sitting on this one for a long time. And when you reached out, I had this hook. I had this written already. And when you'd reached out and told me what the podcast was going to be about and the name of it, I was like, oh shit, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So I hit him up and I was like, hey man, I just got to offer to do this. Like, you want anything? He was like, nah, man, just do your thing. And so when I got into the first couple verses, it's the welcome to the edge of the hole of abyss, where we stand on the ledge and we hope we don't slip, where we're all trying to cope, not focused on shit, where we're scoped on the fix that is fixed to our wrist. And this is just paying homage to like how connected we are to the Matrix, and like through our phone, like we're all scoped on the fix that is fixed to our wrist. Like phones are addictive, and Word. It seems like even for me, like I got to tell myself like, hey, put that shit down. I try to be as, like, if I'm training, if I'm at the gym or something, like I'll leave that shit in my bag and try, even between sets, you got those guys at the gym that are always fucking doing what they do.
Texting you, I'm trying to get on the bench and you. Yeah. So I got you, bro.
And the cyst that persists from the clicks that we get is a ship that's adrift in the midst of the grift.
That's my part right there, bro. The lights.
And
yeah, you hit on it.
This is what I was talking about. Like I really got to nerd out. I like to stretch rhyme schemes until I'm out of words. Like if I can stretch a rhyme scheme, like I got a bar that I stretch rhyme schemes like meth on a tri-beam. Like I fucking, if I can, I'll stretch if I can, I'll stretch that shit out as long as possible. And then what a trip, what a gift, what I miss. Shit. Ignorance is bliss. Because you fucking sometimes you look up and it's like, damn, 2 hours has passed. Like, and there's a lot of people who aren't there is a lot of I wouldn't call it the red pill community, but the truth seeking community. There is a lot of there is a subset of people that are kind of arrogant, as far as, and it's hard to be cordial with quote unquote normies all the time, but one thing I've learned just working, and I don't have kids, but I can imagine like you working 10-hour days, you got 3 kids, and then you come home. Like most people just don't have time to even look over the edge of the rabbit hole, let alone go down it. So I try not to blame people for being completely complacent, and then you got the other end of the spectrum too, where like people are pushing shit and they know the cognitive dissonance is just so thick that nothing you say to them will break that.
Yeah, it's the mass formation. I don't know if you've seen that video. This one dude had with the mass formation. And once you make something your identity, right? Like it's a difference between being a ideologue, right? And just, having an affiliation to something, right? What I've noticed, a big difference, because you got status on both sides. But what I know is between the right and the left status is that the left status kind of makes it their identity. They make their political leanings part of their person. So when you interrupt that or interject that, they go off the deep end, bro. They take it as a personal attack. I had a right leaning status, say some stuff to me. He was telling me about like Thomas Jefferson quotes and talking about how great he was. I'm like, bro, do you know anything about Thomas Jefferson? And I broke down, like, he may have been a great politician with great this, but this dude was a terrible human being. You know what I mean? And I broke down the reasons why. And he didn't take that as a person. He was like, oh man, I didn't know that. Let me look into that. But if you attacked any of the leftist deities or whatever, they're like, whoa, you know, even if you're
Yeah.
dropping truth, even if you're dropping logic, because that's part of them. You know what I mean? They made this ideology part of themselves. So when you challenge that, it's like you been shot a bow and arrow across their face. He's like, whoa, what the hell you doing? You know? So that's the big difference I noticed between both of them.
Yeah, as far as status on both sides, like my sister, bless her heart, I love her to death. But she's like super liberal. And to the point where, you know, she's tied up in all the, you know, Marxist ideology. She doesn't know that she is, but you know, she is. When you get into like what they're teaching in school and stuff like that, and how everything's oppressive left and right, you know, we're both married to Mexicans. And I think for me anyway, I gravitated when I was young, like we didn't have stability at home at all. Like it was a fucking shit show. And even then after my dad left, I was like 11 or 12, even after he left, it was still a shit show. So I seeked solace in Hispanic households, not just because those were my only friends, you know, but just like the stability from like traditional Mexican households was something I just fucking gravitated towards. Yeah. And that progressed into my adult life with me with my wife. And the same thing goes for her, but she had left, she met and emancipated herself when she was young. So like she got out before like a lot of the worst, we're like three and a half years apart. She got out before like a lot of the bad shit started taking place. And like she was always doing school functions and shit. And I was trapping. I was being a fucking fatherless hooligan, just like everybody else in my neighborhood. So it was, it's weird to see people come from the same place, you know, like not everywhere you come from the same place. Like somewhere along the line, like those paths divert and you can end up completely different fucking people, which was crazy interesting when she saw the Hotep stuff, because it like broke the matrix for her. You know, when you start interacting with the Hoteps and them telling people in their community like, hey, don't act like you're helpless. Like you need to build it. You need to value the individual over the collective. And like one thing I like to say is prioritizing the collective makes weak individuals, but prioritizing the individual makes a strong collective. And that's one of the reasons why I really gravitated towards this shit. But as far as like the status on both sides, it's easy to point out the ones on the left, but like what I clown on the right about all the time is like they bitch about media narratives all the time until it's about something like Israel or something like that. You know what I mean? Where you start talking about something like that, and then it's like, oh, now you trust the mainstream media when they're
yeah. Know? It's even with the artists. When you seen Nicki Minaj, when she said what she said, now all of a sudden y'all on her jock. It's like, dude, man, come on now. Y'all was just like, it is whoever is saying whatever they like to hear at the time, and this goes for both sides. Whoever's saying whatever they want to hear at the time is who they gonna rock with. But I think the right is even more because they so desperate for like, you know, different people, like different backgrounds, different races and things like that. It's almost like they want to play the game with the left. They just not good at it, right? They just not good at. They're just not good at that. That's not their game. That's not their what. So whenever you get somebody that goes against the grain and says something that they even an inkling agree with, they on their jock. You know what I mean? No matter if they was bashing them the whole year round, no matter if they supported a different candidate than who they support or whatever. It's like, oh, look what Nicki Minaj said. You know, look at Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Like they just love it.
It's reactionary.
Yeah, definitely.
Completely reactionary. And like you see it with the opposite of like Kaepernick and Kyrie. And then we'll see how this Aaron Rodgers thing plays out. But I mean, you already saw it with Stephen A. Like that was a real weird, like he didn't have that same energy for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, we already Kyrie. I was talking to Cannon about that, man. Dude need to kick bricks, bro. And that's the thing about dudes like Stephen A. And these dudes is not even respected, and they just mouthpieces so that ESPN could talk about, you know, whatever they want to say about black athletes without appearing. And then that's the problem too with I think the left side is because you have to be so virtuous that you're walking on eggshells 24/7. So it's like they can't just have, whoever's over there, Max Kellerman, talk crazy about Kyrie because it'd be like, oh, he's racist. So this is your job. So you got gainful employment just so your job can be, okay, we need somebody to get these black athletes, get at them. Kwame hit Brian hits on that all the time. It's like, dude, your job. So if we need a Hispanic, they got the Hispanic, whatever the girl that hosts First Take or whatever, right? That's your job. So we need somebody to talk about them. That's when you come in. You know what I'm saying? It's like they got every little piece out there so that they can attack whatever little community. We need the black woman. Okay, we got Carrie Champion. Oh, she's acting crazy. Get, Sage Steele in there. Oh, Sage Steele, she got to go. We got to replace her. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a rotation and you can never have your own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? But I'm interrupting your breakdown, man. Go ahead. What's the next lyric, bro?
So it starts in the verse is welcome to the realm where they complicate pursuits, where they confiscate the truth to indoctrinate the youth. They got us hopped up on the juice because the doctor's about to loot, and they posture up imposters because our options are acute. And that's pretty self-explanatory. And my favorite part of that little part was it really, like, as far as like mandates and what's going on with the sauce right now that they're trying to push on everybody is they got us hopped up on the juice because the doctor's about to loot, and they're gonna posture up imposters because our options are acute. Like I like to say it all the time, 99% of experts agree with whoever the fuck pays them to agree. And that's just that goes for anything. They knew there was carcinogens in Similac powder. Like they knew this shit. All you got, they actually removed it on Google, but prior to this year, you would type in Pfizer criminal history and there'd be like a nice little paragraph. Pfizer has been charged with multiple counts of malfeasance over the course of it, but that's not even, last time I checked on Google, like that little that first like little paragraph when you search something, they removed that shit.
Yeah, they go back and read it. Now what they call them, redacted, bro. Even when I was doing medical studies, man, because I do my deep dives, bro. Certain studies, man, you look. It's a study from 2015, updated. June 1st, 2020. What? How do you update a study? And it's all over the internet, dude. You have to go through different search engines, man. I've been using DuckDuckGo more, but I think they infiltrated that joint too. It also goes off the algo. So it's like, it's ridiculous. A lot of times I tell people when you're doing deep research, save the whole web page. You can do that. You know what I mean? And put it on your computer because they will change it in a year or 6 months.
I'll download them. I'll download them, motherfuckers.
Get you external. I got a terabyte. What was it, like 4 terabytes, bro? I'm filling that joint up, bro. I'm not playing no games. So
4, that's wild.
No, I ain't filled it up yet, bro. But I got it because I know the game they play. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when you notice the normies, man, you got to hit them with. I don't even talk sometimes no more. If I have somebody that's just like, on that path, that unbeaten path of got my foot in the sand, I'm not moving. I just put an article. Every time they put a comment, I just put an article. Put article. What you got to say? You know what I mean? Most times it's a bot and they bot out. But go ahead, bro.
What's crazy is I noticed like if you open a Google browser, it will close your Google browser if you try to search certain terms. Like it will literally just exit out of your Google browser. Like if you try to search for medical journals on the therapeutic medicine that shall not be mentioned that people have been using besides the sauce, and it'll literally just close your page. Like it won't even finish your search for you. I don't know if it's just my phone, but like, damn. And then I'll go over to my other browser and it'll pop it right up.
Yeah, Algo not playing, bro.
This next little section is my favorite, my favorite section, mainly because it triggers people and it pisses people off. But playing possum for the boot, and it's lost in the obtuse, and you constantly accosted for the optics you can prove. Animosity is the obstacle that obfuscates the view, and the logical or harbored is a Nazi with the noose. And playing possum for the boot, and it's lost in the obtuse. Like, these people don't understand. You can trust the medicine, you cannot trust the medicine. This shit's about precedence. You know what I mean? All this shit's about precedence. It's like you need to understand precedence and like how if you give them this authority, you're not going to get it back. And then anytime big pharmaceutical wants to lobby to mandate something, they're going to do it. You know what I mean? As soon as these cards came out, when I saw them, I said, oh, there's 4 lines on there. They're going to push 4 punches. You know what I mean? I'm not the sharpest tack, but I don't see how people don't catch that kind of shit. And I think a lot of it's willful ignorance, you know, that people, it's not easy to convince people that they've been duped, you know?
Yeah, because you
So
basically have to mean you're a dumbass. But it's not that, you know, anybody can be duped. But people don't understand incrementalism, like you said, bro. And they also don't understand how the justice system we have in this country works. Yo, like it's all about precedents. What you just said, that's what your legal system is based on. So once you give up that right, once you set that precedence, once you give into incrementalism, it's over with. You're still taking your shoes off at the airport for what? They ain't doing that in no other country. But here. This government here is a sticky government. Basically, whatever laws you give them, you're never going to repeal them. They add laws every year, they repeal very few. You know what I'm saying?
I saw a tweet earlier. I forgot who tweeted it, but it was something about we're not losing rights. You're just realizing that we never had any. I'm not sure who tweeted it out. I wish I could remember so I could shout them out. But I was like, shit, yeah. You know, that's a good one. You know,
good one, definitely.
And that next little section is not a lot that you can do when your thoughts are often skewed. The only product we're consuming is the content they remove. While they're propping up the news and your conscience is abused, they're gonna propagate the conflict just to launch another fuse. And I mean that when you see what's going on right now, even back in 2020, you know, when they were stoking the flames as far as the BLM protests and riots and all this other shit, you know, do whatever they can do to egg people on, you know, create the most confusion,
division.
Yeah, division, you know. Keep the classes fighting with each other, you know. So
yeah, Sun Tzu's Art of War, bro. It's a very short book, but I recommend everybody go read it if you haven't already. It's only like a few pages, depending on what. And it breaks down everything you see in front of you. You know, very, very layman too. Very, you know, very readable. So that's what they're doing. Divide and conquer.
This next little section is we in the clutch. People are stuck. Feeding the evil corrupts. We sowed, we seeded. I know we're defeated until we're free to erupt. Nothing but cucks running amok. Talking to Zuck. Walking around like a deity. You and the media need to get fucked. I was just flexing a little bit.
Yeah, he was flexing. I said he was flexing. He went cuck, Zuck. All right, I see what you.
Yeah, I was clowning a little bit, but the audacity of this motherfucker to rename Facebook Meta. You know, after you just been fucking. I just don't get it. You just been stripping your metadata for however. I'm not on Facebook. I just won't. I won't do it.
And you're not missing nothing. It is I do social experiments sometimes, right? Facebook, I think people that favor and nothing against people, man. I don't want to be one of those people like, oh, I got the big brain, you know, because I don't think that at all. Of everything, I'm maybe slightly above average intelligence. I don't think I'm on that level. But you can just see, like, I post the most dumbest, just funny stuff, right? I'll put some stupid up on Facebook. And it'd be go out into the stratosphere, bro. Likes, oh, people calling me, bro, you crazy, you so funny. I'll put some real shit up there. They avoid it like dog shit on the curb, bro. Like, oh, I almost stepped in that, you know. Like, you know, and it's like crazy. I like to do that. Like, I like to it's like a social experiment almost to me. It's like to see where your head's at, right? Or to see where you're willing to go, right? They won't even like some of the stuff that I put up. You know what I mean? I put up the joint about, you talked about the P word, the miser, right? I put up a joint about how they did something in Africa shady, right? And nothing, yo. Wouldn't touch it, yo. You know what I mean?
I got off Facebook in like, I want to say like 2015. And last year, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So once the Chiefs won that Super Bowl last year, not last year, the year before, I reactivated my shit just to talk some shit to a bunch of people. real quick, just because I was feeling petty, and I saw like how much it had devolved, like what was going on over there. And I was like, oh god damn. And Instagram's getting, I'm getting shadow banned on Instagram right now. Normally, if I do a news segment, and my Instagram's not a big page, I get the most interaction on Twitter, but usually on Instagram I'll get a few hundred plays, you know, on a, but like the last few that I did, I'm getting like 30, 40, you know, like they're hiding my shit. And I'll send it directly to some of my homies. They're like, yeah, I didn't see that. You know? They don't like that shit.
Definitely. I know what's the name, and they're gonna put you on the SEO game too if you don't know already about that. Definitely gonna flood the airwaves, man. I made it so that if you type in, like, you know, my other pod, you type in that name, the first 7 results gonna be mine. So you got to kind of play the algorithm SEO game, which I didn't know nothing about this until I started, you know, getting more internet savvy and all this other stuff. But like, you putting out dope content, man. You know, that's not me, you know, bigging up or fluffing the motherfucker, nothing but shit dope, you know what I mean? So it's just, you know, you just, once you get that team, bro, you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this might be one of them interviews I'll be like, yo, I interviewed that cat when he was, you know what I mean? When he first got his Hotep stripes, yo, that was me.
You know,
so
I'm just trying to get enough of a platform to, you know, I'd like to build something up enough to where I can like eventually go over to Patreon.
Yeah, man, it's rough over there.
And monetize something, because like we're like, our heels are on the edge of a cliff right now.
Yeah,
you know, and there's only so much more time before they're just gonna start axing the Overton window, like
gulags, baby. We're gonna be playing what you say. I'm in the gulags. Hope your chess game up to par, bro. We gonna be in.
You know, but like I do have some optimism, you know, because like you see what's going on in your state specifically, and we'll see what happens up here, man. Like, I don't think, because OSHA, that whole OSHA deal, like all the lumber mills and everything, they go by OSHA, but we'll see. Like, they might just pay that fine, because these are small little outfits that produce a lot of lumber, and I think they might lose more money. I think they know. I think they know what time it is. If they really try to implement something, I don't think these guys will walk off the job, you know? Like,
I just think it's up to one of these state governors needs to be like, we're not sending the fund, like they're gonna pay that taxes that they pay, they're gonna pay to the state. We're not even gonna pay to the Fed. We're done. And call they bluff. I think it's gonna take, and I don't see it here, man. I keep it a buck. I apply for Ron for all he doing, but I think he has presidential ambitions. He doesn't have no revolutionary, we're done ambitions. I think everything he does is so that in 2022 I can make this run for president. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with ambition or whatever, but at the same time, I think it's gonna take something extreme. And both like Abbott and Ron to me are not like gonna go to the extreme to break that chain. You know what I mean? Like Eric July say secession, yo. Like, that's the only way I can see it from this point. Like, you have to go to that extreme, and I don't think nobody is willing, you know, or have the testicular fortitude, I should say, to go that route. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that dude's sharp, man. I really like Eric July's content.
Oh yeah, he's dope, man. He's dope.
He makes some good stuff, and he just goes straight for the neck every time.
Oh, I applaud him because he do it solo. I can't, bro. I tried to do a solo pod a couple times. I'm like, oh my god, this fucking sucks, yo.
Man, and I'm a caveman with this shit. Like, I'm still learning. Like, music's like different. When I started getting into like video editing and shit, this is funny. So the first video content I posted was about how I've had recovery issues, drugs and alcohol, you know, and I'd been to treatment before. Like, this is years and years ago. And I made a video about like how as soon as you go to treatment, the first thing they do is they give you more drugs, you know? And I made this video and it was cool. Like, I had a couple really good points, and then I was gonna post it. And Chad from Mental Order, he was like, hold on, send that to me. And it was like, and then Canon Hotep hit me up. He was like, hey, don't post that yet. And it was like Hotep Avengers. And they came in, they were like, hey, you gotta cut this up, make it long enough for Twitter. Like, and then Canon is a cool dude. I was able to meet him personally in Vegas. You know, he's sharp, he's intelligent. Like that man, that's a real cool dude, man. And he was like, hey, you need to get this software, you need to install this. Like he's like, record your shit here, edit it here, you know, like I was like, damn, dude, like he helped me out a lot. So shout out to him. That episode that you did with him, I was on vacation. That was like, you know, that was a cool little. Yeah, he's always got something really poignant to say, you know.
Yeah, that dude was on point. That was one of my favorite interviews, man, with discussions or whatever. When you just meet somebody who's not so focused on complaining about a problem, but that like everything they saw as an issue, they just went and solved it. Like,
yeah,
that was dope talking to people like that. You know what I'm saying?
And he'll put like even his content that he'll put out, you know, he'll tell people like, hey, go get you a truck, like, you know, like there's stuff that like he's reposting videos. We have this in the chat. We have Hotep content creators. He'll like repost a video. It'll be like from like 6-7 months ago, where he just called some shit, like whether it was like supply chain issues or like food short. Like he'll call some shit. He'll have to remind us, be like, I told you, motherfuckers. You know, and he's so chill about it too. You know, he's just a real humble dude.
Yeah, man, you big, bro. You don't get.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it's like you ain't gonna whoop me, so it's very free. It's very freeing when you know, bro. I don't know. You seen that? I seen the video, man. It was the ginger dude, man, and you could tell he had a little boxing training, right? And this dude's just running up on him, bro. He throwing hooks, bam, 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 2 pieces, bam, bam. You know what I'm saying? Step back, jab, bam, right hook, bam, just knocking people out, right? And it's almost like that. It feels like that sometimes. It's like when you know your body is right, when you know your mind is sharp, when you know you're doing everything possible to, you know what I mean, withhold through all this dystopia nonsense, it changes your perspective and how you feel. You walk with a different swagger, bro. Even me, like going to like this boot camp, I've been to war zones, all this. So when somebody say something, so like I don't even, you know how people crying over social media, like, oh my God, it's bullying me, and I don't have bullets whiz over my head in civilian life and military. You know what I mean? So it's like, what you gonna do? I'll beat you the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you hear that swagger, man, it changes everything about you. You know what I'm saying?
That's what people don't get too. I think we've even spoke about this just on comments, like back and forth, talking about working out. It was like people, as men too, especially, they overestimate by a ridiculous amount what they're capable of doing.
Yes.
When it comes to self-defense. And what people don't get is like when you're trained, like when you actually train, like it's not so I can get into shit. It's so I can not get into shit. So can I avoid that, you know, so I can avoid that situation. Because if you get into it, I think we talked about it. Like if you can develop a stiff jab, a shoulder roll, maybe a low kick, you're going to fuck up 99% of the people at the bar.
It's over with, bro.
And people don't get that. And I'm not a big guy. Like I'm 5'9", 185, you know, but people don't understand how, my last kick, the last time I competed was 2019, and I've been boxing since I was 11, but I took a kickboxing fight, and I fucked up and didn't train enough checking leg kicks, and my shit got battered, and I realized just how, you know, because I started lighting him up with the hands, and he was like, nope, and then he just kept his distance, just hacked me for 3 rounds, and I was like, shit, dude. Ever since that day, I just been drilling low kick, you know, 1 through 3 low kick, 1 through 3 low kick.
Even if you get far enough just to numb those veins down and that numb that, you know what I mean? I used to have a roommate, man. He used to train him, man. He just walk around hitting himself with a broomstick in the
oh man.
I'm killing them nerve endings, man. I'm like, okay, man, do your thing, bro. But that's what he was talking about. He got killed with them low kicks, them leg kicks killed him, bro. Somebody killed him.
It's different, man. Like that was one of the most, as far as like combat sports go, that was the most humbling experience in my life. You know, I've rolled with guys, like I don't know much about grappling, you know, I could choke out some normal dudes, but I've rolled with like actual guys, you know, like purple belt, brown belts, dude. And it's like, if you don't know what you're doing, you're fucking helpless, you know. And it doesn't matter how strong you are, like how in shit, like if you don't know what you're doing, like there's only so much you can do. You know, I didn't walk right for literally like 4 or 5 months. I didn't walk right. Like he tore my shit up. And this kid was young too. Like I was like 20, when was that? 2019. So I'd have been 27, and he would have been he was like 21, 20, you know, little baby face, you know. And I got real light for that one. I got all the way down to 168, and me at 168, I don't look like I can make 168. I fill out every like, I got to be down to the grain of rice. I got to be disciplined to get down to that. And I see this little scraggly 168er, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna bulldoze this guy, dude. And no,
nope.
It was a long night, man. I lost a decision. It was a good scrap, but I lost the decision, and he fucked my legs up, man.
And but you know what? Just to have the gumption to get into that ring, man. Most people don't even have that. Like, most people do not. You know what I mean? Like, between like, even like I said, military, like less than 1% people join the military, less than 1% of people go into combat sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, that in itself, to have the gumption, to have the confidence to do that in itself, you know what I'm saying? It changes you. It makes you not say a tier above, but it makes you different. Like, it makes you, you know, on a different level, where so you know you are willing to go the extra mile. One thing, when I know I was out there, you know, when you go to some of these Muslim countries or whatever, they got the thing called Ramadan, right? Where you don't, like, you go a month, you know, you don't eat sun up, sundown, right? And if you get caught cheating, right, you like ostracized from that village. They're like, we can't trust you for nothing. You know what I mean? You can't make it through Ramadan. You can't make it through this holy month we got without eating sun up, sun. We can't mess with you, period. You're like, you know what I mean? You're kicked out the village. You're not trusted. You're that drunkard of the village, right? So it's almost like that. It's like, if I can't trust you, or you can't, you know, bring yourself to learn something that's gonna not only help you defend your family. You feel me? Like, help you. You don't want to train guns. You know what I mean? You don't want to train with rifles. You don't want to learn any martial art. You don't want to even get in shape. Don't not even do nothing basic like do resistance training. Like, I don't know if I could trust you. You know, that's the basic. You know what I'm saying? So I think we kind of get to that mindset. And once you get to that independent individual mindset, where so I'm going to improve myself. And it's crazy what your body is capable of, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy once you start training your body what you are capable of. I took mortar shells, bro. I took shrapnel from mortar. 2 weeks later, I never forget this. I was in a hospital, bro. This dude came to me, was like, oh, when did this happen? I was like, yeah, like a week and a half ago or whatever. He's like, bro, you like Wolverine, bro. But I was so in shape, you know what I mean? I was like, I was like a $190 cut shredded. You know what I'm saying? But I was so in shape at the time that I was just healing, bro. I was running a month later with a hole in my ankle. You feel me? And it's crazy what your body is capable of, and it give you that confidence, man. So it's good to hear you speak on that and speak on taking your lumps. But at the end of the day, you know, that made you a better man. You feel me?
Yeah, that foundation is paramount, because I've been out of the gym for about a couple of months. I had pneumonia last month, and I'm in the lumber industry. I'm actually in between jobs right now. It was time for a change. I went all in on equipment. I bit the bullet. It's sink or swim. Like, I can always.
There you
I'm gonna quit.
There you
I'm
go.
an
That
equipment
confidence,
operator.
bro. Let's go.
I'm an equipment operator, and I'm a skilled operator. I'm a seasoned equipment operator. So if I have to go find something, I'll be fine. But I'm like, let's just, I put out a video or something a day for the last 3 days, and I'm just gonna try to keep that pace and see what fucking happens, and do what I got to do. But I just got back in the gym earlier this week, and like that first, when you're shaking the cobwebs off, you're like, damn, I'm a bitch. Like, this sucks, you know. But then like day 3, your body, because you got that foundation, you know, you have that foundation for decades of forging your blade, you know, and like it came back, you know. Today, like, I felt a little bit better, and like, when you've been in shape, it sucks getting out of shape, but like when you've spent decades doing that, you get right back. You get right back into it, you know, and that's something good to touch on, especially with everything right now, when the focus should be on underlying conditions, and it should be on what people put in their body, and it should be on how people are taking care of themselves, you know. Like, we don't have a problem with the virus running rampant. We got a problem with underlying conditions.
Yeah, sickly population. You have the most sickly population. People don't realize it because America has all these luxuries of all this, 3 meals a day. You eat meat. That's unheard of in modern times. Eat meat 3 times a day, bro. And that's the norm in America, right? You have a very like sickly population, man. They from everything like diabetes, heart disease. You have 600,000 people die a year of heart disease. Nobody says anything about it. And I have yet to hear any of these clowns on TV, Fraudgy and all of these, the doctors and all these pundits on TV. I have any of them say anything about weight management or nutrition or vitamin D or getting in the sun or cardio or nothing. You hear nothing about it, yo. Body fat percent, nothing. And it's like, dude, if your job is to save people, why wouldn't the first thing out your mouth be like, yo, you need to get in shape? You know what I mean? And I got the bug, yo. And that joint was terrible, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I lost about 15 pounds, bro. The first time I went to the gym, bro, I was 20% strength gone, bro. I felt like a straight pump. You know what I'm saying? and I just probably got back right maybe a month ago, bro. But like you said earlier, man, that hit home for me, man. Like I knew I can get to this point, right? I know I could build back up because I've been there, right? You go up and down. Matter of fact, like it's certain times, like if you gotta do like PT training or whatever, I know I gotta run this 1.5 miles in a certain time. I'm gonna crank back down on the resistance training, crank back up on the cardio. I may get a little weaker, but as soon as I'm done with this test, bam, I'm finna get back up and crank it up on the weights. You know what I'm saying? Your body is a fluid thing, and you can do a lot of crazy stuff with your body, particularly if you ain't old. You know what I mean? So it's just telling how you don't hear anything about nutrition, yo. I want to see somebody go up there, find one person to go up to. If you call yourself a doctor, find one person to go up there to a stage, to a podium, and say, "Yo, Fraudchi over here saved my life." I bet you can't find one person to say that, bro. But you're a doctor, though.
Yeah, and it's I think a big problem too is like the fitness, not the fitness community, but the fitness industry. They've made this shit look like such a insurmountable obstacle for people who are out of shape, like all these fucking diets and all these different exercise programs. And it's like, it's not easy, but it's simple. Like you ain't got to do nothing fucking crazy, man. Like you need fucking 10 square feet. You can do burpees. Like it's not, I think people who are trying to get in shape initially, like they really overwhelm themselves with like a certain diet or a certain exercise routine. And it's like, it's really not
look
that.
in a certain way. Even look in a certain way. They think they're supposed to be all cut up, and some of the most prolific weightlifting and they wasn't built like Adonis. You know what I'm saying? Like they was normal looking dudes and stuff like that. Even myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm not super pumped up Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I left half the creatine filled foods in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Just from that muscle memory and that training and nutrition. You feel me? So I think a lot of people get lost, and then they get lost into this TV, and they get lost, like you said, in your lyrics, bro. You know what I'm saying? You what the watch, yo. You know what I'm saying? You get lost up in that joint. You get lost up in the clicks, the BBLs and whatnot. You know what I mean? That's not realistic joint, bro. But you could still like push your body to its limits, being a normal person. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think people get that anymore. It's we live in the matrix, brother.
And everyone's like genetically, like I'm Celtic. I'm 51% Irish, Scottish. Like I'm a potato motherfucker. Like I come from farmers and railroad workers. You know what I mean? So like that medium twitch muscle fiber is like, that's normally where I progress, where other people can't. Like I put up good numbers for a guy my size, but that's not where I excel. So like that's where I get to challenge myself. And it's part of our culture today. Like it's not about, people think it's not about getting yourself, you're just automatically comparing yourself to what you see. And it's like that's just not real.
Not real. And honestly, if they stepped out that box and went to the gym, you'll see that most people are just normal people trying to they're going there 3 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Get their little, workout in and do that. Like you don't have to be putting up crazy weight. You don't have to look like a supermodel, like you on Baywatch, none of that stuff. Most people you see are normal people, man. And we kind of got to get off that ideal, man. We get lost in the box, bro. The box is, that's why when I was doing your doing the song and doing the extended version, man, I made sure I concluded that little caption of the TVs, man, because I think that's one of the biggest obstacles that we face is that this unrealistic goal of what's on the box. You know what I'm saying? That's not reality, man. We got to start getting back to the basics of even just talking to our neighbors, going outside, just getting from under this. And that's, I think, part of this whole, this whole little plan with the Rona, is to get you from human interaction. Whereas though your own interaction with people is through either the box or social media. You're not interacting with real people. You're not seeing real life, bro. You living in that matrix. When that brother was eating that steak and he knew it was fake in the matrix, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's what you're doing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But man, I ain't gonna hold you up too long. It's
heartbreaking. Like you see.
Oh, my bad. I was gonna cut you off. I'm trying to get you back to them lyrics, saying, my brother. That shit's hard.
That was it. We hit on every single one. It goes right back into the hook after that.
Oh shit, damn.
Yeah.
Bro, you killing it, my dude. Go ahead, bro.
But I was just gonna say, like, that shit's heartbreaking. You see these videos of these couples that have been together for 60 years and his wife's in hospice and they can't give each other a hug or something. And this is an absolute, I guarantee you, an absolute 100% of those people. If you say, hey, would you rather risk transmitting the bug or hug your significant other that you've spent your whole life with, you've been with 60 years? Ask them what they want, Not
giving them a choice, bro. Not giving them a choice.
The inconsistency in this is like absolutely batshit crazy. I made a segment on it the other day. It's like, I attend NA and AA meetings. The casino has been open this whole fucking time. They ain't closed the casino once. I live in Northern California. There's a lot of reservation land. The town I live in, the Karuk tribe. I actually have Shawnee. I have ancestors. I got Shawnee tribe blood, and but the Karuk tribe, the casino's up there on their property, and like they never shut that down at all. But on the same property, the NA meetings that they hold for the Karuk tribe, nothing. And there is resources, like there's Zoom meetings and stuff like that, and like they do help. They make a big difference, and it is something.
It's something about the human interaction, bro. I know, that touch, bro. A hug. You know how therapeutic a hug is. I know you know how therapeutic a hug is, bro. And you saying that's off limits, even if I agree to, even if that's something I want, you know what I mean? Like it's bananas, dude. Liquor stores open, McDonald's open. AA closed, you gotta go through Zoom. Does that make sense to anybody? How does that make sense to anybody? I don't understand how that works.
I don't know how people are even trying to like rationalize it at this point. This is like where the people who are shilling for that, like as far as like the regulations, and I said it the other day, I said people are more mad at people who oppose guidelines than they are at the government for being complicit in this whole fucking thing. Whatever you want to say, like at the least, they were complicit.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go full tight Kufi, but
man, it's the new Dystopia, bro. we do Kufio. This the place to do the Kufi, bro.
At the least, they were complicit in this shit. And they don't even care. Like now they're releasing shit, like all these FOIAs that were filed by the Intercept and shit, like last year. Now they're just dropping it. They don't even care. They're not even hiding it anymore.
Oh, they don't care, bro. What was that? The G7 or something? When they kicking it, smiling, no mask on. They don't even. They have figured it out that people are so dumbed down that they not even trying to hide it, bro. These dudes, you have all these different states, right? All these different areas, different population, different infection rates, different genetics, different land masses, geographic land masses. Everything's different about it, right? Yet you're doing everything lockstep no matter what. You're not even trying to hide it anymore, yo. You got the same medicines, we're going to call them medicines. You shipping the same medicines to these areas, even though they don't even need it. Like, even though, and some of these places have spiked after you sent your medicine to them. And nobody's batting an eye, nothing, yo. This population's been so dumbed down. What I said, yo, they're going to make sure that you have cheap garbage food because you won't starve. So a starving population is a revolutionary population, bro. They're going to make sure it's a McDonald's in the middle of the desert. It will be in the middle of nowhere, Afghanistan. It will be a Mickey D's with a $1 menu. They're going to make sure you get that, because if you are fed and you got a phone, You are docile, bro. You're not finna do
Yeah.
anything. You finna still go to work still. And I put up a tweet earlier, bro. I said the worst place you be is in the middle class. Middle class is you too poor to not care, but you're not rich enough to have FU money. You feel me? And that's exactly what it is. Because I know every year when I was poor as hell, every summer, when I was working my little dead-end jobs or hustling weed or whatever I was doing, I would quit my job, bro. Because who cares? You know what I'm saying? I can get through the summer hustling, doing whatever I do. You know what I mean? And then I'm kicking it the whole summer. You don't need much. $20. I can fill up a tank, get a bottle of gin and a nickel bag. We good to go. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Every summer I did that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't care when you broke, when you poor, when you used to that environment. But when you got a mortgage, when you got 3 kids, when you got a car note, you know what I'm saying? When you got things you got, hey, you obligated. We got you. They love you in that middle spot, bro.
It's, I mean, I'm extremely blessed, like being in a rural area. I know that full Poso, Jack Posobiec, he's always telling people get out of the cities, but I can't imagine being in like a big metropolitan area, right? Because like if shit really hits the fan, I'm still eating. You know what I mean? I had four 3-point bucks, 3x3s right out my front door, like this morning. Like they're all over the place. You know what I mean? Like I don't. And there's there's ranches, there's stuff like that. Like me and my neighbors will go in on a whole steer. Like there's people don't have those resources. Like so it's a completely different environment too. Like I can't imagine being tied down like that in a metropolitan area where like like you can knock, you know, I can scream at the top of my lungs, my neighbors won't hear me. You know?
Yeah.
It's a different situation. It really is.
It's definitely different. And I'm kind of torn too, you know, because I still got a lot of family in cities, things like that. You kind of don't want to tell them to abandon the cities, but at the same time, it's like they don't have the skills equipped to even live in the country. You know, they would have to obtain them skills. They would have to get some self-sufficiency and learn how to, you know, hunt and even shoot a rifle, man. These people can shoot. So it's like, it's hard to tell them to abandon years, you know, this is a way of life they're used to. But at the same time, you know, you're a goner in the city, bro. All you gotta do is stop the trucks from coming in and it's a wrap. Yo, Kroger's dry up, you know, Publix dry up in food. What you going to do? You know what I mean? It's going to be the purge in real life. So you're torn between that rock and a hard place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like developing those skills. It's funny when you talk about they don't know how to shoot a rifle. I got a buddy, he don't know shit. And I took him shooting a couple weeks ago, and he actually got a 308 round lodged in my 30-06. I was like, man, like, and I messaged Cannon about it, and I was like, hey, bro, like, how do I get this shit out? He's like, you're gonna have to take that somewhere, because it's not something I've ever fucking, you know, because it's similar. Lucky it wasn't deep enough and it didn't fuck up my barrel or anything like that. And I'm like, damn, it was my fault, because we were sighting in scopes, and I had the boxes of ammunition were next to each other, and I shouldn't, like, he didn't know, you know.
Yeah, it's
like, it is what it is. But I was just like, damn, dude, like, no harm, no foul. Like, it cost me $40 at the gunsmith. It's not a big deal, but like that could have been a catastrophe. But it's being ANCAP, like, I think the difference between a lot of the people on the left, like, they want to implement this socialist utopia, and they can't let go of the idea that it's just not possible. Like, you know what I mean? But like being an ANCAP, like, one thing I do realize, large scale, it's not going to work because people don't have the competency to do that. You know, like for a real ANCAP society to succeed, a certain level of competency has to be within the community. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about large scale, and that's so I can be ANCAP and then think in my head, it's like, it's not practical if we're talking like at a nation level. So like my community, my neighborhood, we're ANCAP as fuck. We try to be as much as possible, you know, rely on people when you can, you know, if you need help doing something, you ask your neighbor, and, you know, you develop the skills that you have, you know, try to stay out of the system as much as possible.
Some people need to state, bro.
That's true.
Some people need to state. even when I was getting out my little time, doing my time, and as a banker mercenary, there's some people I'll suggest like, yo, I think you personally, you need to stay in, bro. Because it's an environment where they tell you where to go. They tell you what you need to dress in that day. They tell you, what you need to do to get promoted. They tell everything is handled for you. You just got to follow instructions. Some people, they just need that, man. They just need that structure. They just need that. They don't have the wherewithal to be, resilient or be independent to that point. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do with those people, man? It's a hard thing. So like you said, you can't just say like, yo, and cap everybody on your own, you know what I'm saying? Straight libertarian, free market, bam, do your thing. Because some people wouldn't have no clue what to do, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They will be lost as fuck. And the thing about those people, when those people get together and band together, one idiot, one useless person, it's not bad. 100 of them together, a Roman band of idiots that don't know how to do anything but take your shit.
They can fuck some shit up, man.
They can fuck some shit up. I think a lot of these zombie movies are about that. The Walking Dead and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think they talking about dead people that coming back to life. They talking about these people who have no brain. These people who can't function. You know what I'm saying? They need a direction. They need somewhere to go. They need this turnstile to tell them when to go and when to step in, when to step off. And if they don't have that,
Yeah. Yeah, for real. I've thought about like, oh man, how many could I keep away?
How much ammo do I have? But yeah, all right, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here to bid it, man. I kept you over the time. I gotta be on another podcast like 30 minutes. So of course, I always dedicate the last moment to the guest, man. So if you got anything you want to plug, your music, YouTube page, anything, bro, this is your time to shine. Do your thing.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity. It's Cassius Cam everywhere. I'm just gonna keep pumping out content. Just everybody out there, if you're watching this, retweet it, share it with people. If you got someone that you can trigger, send it to them too. Fuck it. You know what I mean? But just prioritize and execute. And that's what it's about. So I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you, bro. And on the outro joint, I'll make sure I play the long version again so that people can eat up that content, you feel me? But make sure you shoot me your information too, so I throw all that into the show notes, whatever you want to include in that. So man, I always gotta say, man, salute to you, brother. You was one of the dudes repeating my joint on Twitter and helping me out a little bit. One of the people I actually have rapport with and things like that. Like I said, man, talented dude, music dope, bro. And I'm always honored, bro, to call you a friend, man. Even though I met you, man,
sir.
One of the homies. And I got to say, Hotep and build, brother.
Hotep and build, man. I appreciate it. Oh, we'll do this again.
We definitely do, because we got some subjects I ain't touch on. So you coming back. All right, bro. Peace.
All right, man.
Welcome to the edge of the hole of abyss, where we stand on the ledge and we hope we don't slip. Where we all trying to cope, not focused on shit. Always scoped on the fix that is fixed to our wrist. And the cyst that persists from the clicks that we get is a ship that's adrift in the midst of the grift. What a trip, what a gift. What I miss? Shit. Ignorance is bliss.
Welcome to the realm where they complicate pursuits, confiscate the truth to indoctrinate the youth. Got us hopped up on the juice cause the doctor's about the loot. Posture of imposters cause our options are acute. Playing possum for the boot, it's lost in the obtuse. You constantly accosted for the optics you can prove. Animosity's the obstacle that obfuscates a view. The logical or harbored is a Nazi with a noose. Not a lot that you can do. Your thoughts often skewed. Only product worth consuming is the content they remove. Propping up the news, your conscience is abused. They gon' propagate the conflict just to launch another fuse. We in the clutch, people are stuck. Feeding the evil corrupts. We're so we seated, I know we're defeated until we're free to erupt. Nothing but cucks running amok. I'm talking to Zuck. Walking around like a deity, you and the media need to get fucked.
Welcome to the edge of the hole of abyss, where we stand on the ledge and we hope we don't slip. Where we all trying to cope, not focused on shit. Always scoped on the fix that is fixed to our wrist, and the cyst that persists from the clicks that we get is a ship that's adrift in the midst of the grift. What a trip, what a gift. What I miss? Shit. Ignorance is bliss, 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 bliss. Ignorance is bliss.